During the perimenopause and menopause, muscles and joints are impacted in so many different ways, including muscle tension. So today I'm going to look at that, why it can happen or get worse during the perimenopause and menopause, and the simple things that you can do to help yourself. So what is muscle tension? So muscle tension is the state of your muscles where they remain semi-contracted or tight even when you're not doing anything or you haven't used your muscles for a while. So the key signs for this is that your muscles, they feel tight and stiff. You know, you wake up in the morning and you're as stiff as anything, and it feels like you've done a huge amount of exercise the day before when you've done absolutely nothing, and you might find that it's really quite uncomfortable to get everything loosened up and working again properly. It could be due to pain and discomfort. So it can just be that your muscles are painful, or they just feel really uncomfortable. And it can be just mild discomfort. Maybe you feel as if you've just pulled a muscle, or you can end up getting really sharp, achy pains that just come on really suddenly. You might find it's restricting your movement range. So again, this is really common first thing in the morning when maybe you've been sleeping in one position. You find that, you know, I find sometimes when I've been sitting a long time and you get up, you're kind of like, oh, you know, everything feels really kind of tight, and you can't move and turn as well as what you normally do. It could be just tenderness. So it could be that if you touch your muscles, you just feel that they're sore, as if something is going on there. So this state can happen really with any muscle, but it tends to be the bigger one. So that would be the common ones will be the neck and the shoulders. It can be your back, either your lower back or your upper back. It could be your thighs or your calves and your jaw. I know that's one area with me that it happens, especially if I get stressed, I tend to clamp my jaw. So the causes of all of this. So first of all, we know it can definitely be hormonal. Estrogen plays quite an important part in keeping your muscles and your joints healthy. So when your estrogen starts to decrease, this can have quite an impact on your muscles generally. It can also, the hormonal changes can trigger the flight or fight. And again, if you're in that flight or fight situation, your muscles tense up ready for you to jump into some kind of action. It can be stress. And we know that any kind of stress, it tightens, everything tightens up. And again, you're in this heightened state of anxiety. So your muscles go really tense because your body, again, in that flight or fight situation, is ready for action. Even though there's not going to be any action for you at all, it just puts your muscles into that state. It can be really uncomfortable, and it can take quite a while for that tension to actually dissipate too. It can be sleeping disorders, and we know that if you're getting night sweats, if you're getting poor sleep generally, that can have a big impact. You can't relax during the night, so you end up with this muscle ache and muscle tension first thing in the morning before you start to get moving again. It can be that poor sleep can impact on anxiety and stress. So all of these things can be interconnected. You know, you may be getting poor sleep and then not actually realizing that it's the poor sleep that's causing all these, the muscle tension and muscle discomfort during the day. It can also be magnesium deficiency, and this is so common. Magnesium, for those of you that have been watching for a while, you know how much I go on about magnesium. It's such an important mineral for the perimenopause and menopause. We need it for so many different things, and our need for magnesium goes up when there's any kind of emotional or physical stress. So if our magnesium levels are low, if we're deficient in magnesium, if we're not eating enough magnesium-rich foods, then one of the first areas to be impacted will be the muscles, because they just can't function well without a decent level of magnesium. It can be dehydration. And again, for those of you that have been watching, dehydration impacts on everything. So dehydration will impact on muscle function. It could be physical overexertion. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that you go absolutely mad at the gym or go out for a 10-mile run or a hike. But if your muscles are already in a weakened state, there's a little bit of low magnesium, and you do just a normal day's exercise, it takes the muscles a lot longer to recuperate, and you can then end up getting sore muscles. And a word of warning here for those of you that are really active, maybe you do a lot of sports every day or on a daily basis, your recovery time is going to take much longer. So doing heavy exercise every single day in the perimenopause and menopause can lead to muscle tension and muscle aches and pains and joint problems. So you have to be really careful if you're a serious athlete to make sure that you give yourself plenty of recovery time between exercise sessions. The other things it can be is you can be standing for too long, or for me, I know it's if I'm sitting, especially if I'm at my computer, because eventually you tend to end up like this, and then you get up and it takes a while for your body just to stretch itself out. So just make sure that if you're sitting or having to stand for long periods of time, that you do some kind of movement, get up and walk, or just stretch your legs, or do something just to keep the muscles moving nicely and not ending up getting too stiff here as well. So the things you can do to help yourself: regular exercise. We're not talking about going mad, but it's about keeping, maybe exercise is the wrong word, because sometimes you just think, oh, I don't want to exercise. Keeping active is probably a better way to put it. Keep active every day. That will keep your muscles working well. It can be things like yoga, tai chi, qigong, swimming. These are all exercises, and walking, which is absolutely fabulous. So these are all exercises that are not going to put a huge amount of impact on your joints, but are going to keep your muscles nice and stretched. And I know for me, I love yoga, but if I forget it for 3 or 4 days, it really tells on my muscles. So I know for me that things like stretching as well, really important. Even just a 5-minute stretching routine before you go to bed can help with that morning ache and tension. Go onto YouTube and you can find all these different sets of stretching exercises. They can make a huge amount of difference as well. Keep the water up to stop the dehydration. Remember stress management. If you find that you're getting, the more stressed you are, the more muscle tension you get. Nutrition is really important for everything. So make sure that you're getting your magnesium, your vitamin D, and your calcium, and you can top up these with our balanced perimenopause drink, which you can take during the menopause as well. There's no issue here because this contains all 3 of these too. Massage can be really lovely for muscles that are tense and tight. Maybe treating yourself to just a nice massage session once a month can often be really good in this situation. Herbal remedies, you can look at Atrasan Devil's Claw, which is recommended for muscle ache, and Atrogel, which you can apply again for muscle aches, and good posture. Remember, especially if, like me, you're sitting at a desk, keep your shoulders up to stop that particular tension. So I hope you found this one helpful. We've had a lot of queries about this recently, and this is the reason I brought it up. We've done muscle and joint aches and pains before, but this seems to be another one that's creeping in for everybody. Have you experienced it? What did you do to help yourself? Was it anything that really made a difference for you? Remember to share your stories. I love hearing about them, and your little tip might help someone else down the line as well, which is absolutely great. So have a lovely week, and I'll see you soon.